So the zakah on gold and silver was commanded to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as one of the first of the properties that people have to pay zakah for. Even when you go and study the zakah from any book of fiqh, you will go first to the al-dhahab and al-fidda. The reason why, because the nisab amount is measured by the gold. So if you don't have understanding to the gold, how much with your currency, you will not understand how to pay zakah or anything else. So in any form that this gold and silver are made, as long as they are gold and silver, you have to measure them and see if they reach the amount of zakah to be paid. The nisab of gold and its due. The minimum nisab of gold is 20 dinar. 20 dinar owned for 1 year. Now someone will say, oh, we are ringgit. Dinar here is not the currency that we have now. There are some countries still have the name dinar, but not the dinar in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. 20 dinar in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The 1 dinar is equal to 4 grams of gold, 4.25 of gold. Okay, 1 dinar. So having 20 dinar of gold, this is your amount of nisab that you have to pay for zakat al-dhahab. Its due is a quarter of tenth, rub'ul ushri, we say in Arabic, rub'ul ushri is a quarter of tenth. That's a half dinar. A half dinar. For any amount over 20 dinar, a quarter of tenth is levied upon it. Okay. So here, estimated, I'm not 100% sure on this amount. 1 gram, different website give you, but slightly change, like from one side, one give me 238, one give me 240. I checked few times during last week. But this is the highest amount that I find. 1 gram with Malaysian ringgit now is 246. It's quite high. I don't know, is gold is going up now? Going down? Okay, is it? Okay. 85 grams. Okay, if you count that, if 85 grams means 20,983 ringgit. Okay, so this is the nisab of the zakah. The nisab of the zakah. So how much of gold nisab of zakah? 85 grams. 85 grams of gold is your nisab of zakah. You calculate everything you earn, you have, saving, blah, blah. If this amount means you are reaching the amount of nisab of zakah. You have to count 1 hawl, 1 calendar year, and then pay the amount of zakah based on 85 grams. Yes.
On like which date should we reference in calculating the nisab?
What do you mean by which date?
So let's say like we want to calculate the nisab.
Yes.
In order to know how much we have to pay zakat, right?
Yes.
So here, let's say it's 1 gram is 246.
Yes.
Okay. But then let's say tomorrow it could be of a different price.
Maybe up, maybe down.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how do we know when?
Now, okay, let's say let's imagine scenario so we can understand. Let's say I just start earning now, I do business, and then I earn the money, and then I feel like, okay, first time for me to earn 15,000 ringgit. Let me check with the gold. Now, how much the gold? I can calculate this. Oh, I find a way to go for the zakat. After a few months, then I reach 20,000 plus. Okay, I'm too close. I check if in that day when I check, it's, I keep checking, 3 خلاص, I write the day. I keep it 1 hawl, 1 calendar year, and I back. The end of the hawl, I will calculate. If I find, let's imagine something happened and the price of gold goes very high. Okay, so no way I can reach the amount of nisab. Then the end of hawl is the reason for you to pay or not to pay. In this case, in these scenarios, a lot of scholars advise that we should refrain from gold to do our calculation on silver. Because what's the point of zakat? The point of zakat is to purify and to benefit the poor. If you want to calculate in gold, when it's very high, you will never reach it. So if you calculate in silver, you can take out money of zakat. Even if you have little, you still can zakat. Okay, but of course, first option is gold. As I said, first option is gold. But if you wish to purify your income and you want calculation for you that you can reach easy the nisab, you calculate in silver and you zakat on silver. There are a lot of people do their calculation on silver because they want to meet the zakat. They want to meet the nisab. Okay, but the nisab as a first option, as according to the authentic opinion of the ulama and the scholars, is to be in gold. That's the hukum. That's the if we are too far from gold and silver, then no problem. We are not eligible to pay the zakat.
Let's say gold has gone up so much, because of war. Then you say, okay, the price is not realistic compared to last year. You can decide, I still want to pay zakat, right? I don't have to do. I mean,
you have to do it based on calculation. If you take out, let's say, okay, I cannot reach zakat, I cannot, but I just want to take out from money, it will be sadaqah. It will be sadaqah, a charity, that voluntary charity. But it will not be count for you as zakatul wajib. If you want to be count for you as zakat wajib, oh, I cannot reach gold, I want to purify, referring to silver. Silver is way cheaper than, yes. That's why scholars say those who cannot reach the gold, or reach but the gold goes up, like my friend in Kuwait, he say from last time, from 3 dinar Kuwaiti money currency goes to 13. He say no way, like ordinary people like us would pay their zakat. So he said, we do the calculation, even his sheikh. So he said, even masjid, I told them, now most of you cannot reach the amount of gold, so pay from silver, so the poor still can benefit from your money, and you still can benefit from the zakat, the ajr, the reward. Yes. Yeah, we will go to it inshallah. It has different amount. So, but we stick to the hukum. The hukum is on dahab, on gold. We do our best on gold. But in some circumstances, because now things change quite fast, like suddenly there is war, prices goes up, changes. We don't know, sometimes in the future, maybe we are not able to pay zakat anymore in terms of gold. So we can refer to the silver, inshallah. Zakah on gold, Ali reported that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, there is nothing upon you in gold until it reaches 20 dinars. This is the hadith of Rasulullah. Thus, if you have 20 dinars at the end of the year, then there is half a dinar levied on it as zakah. Any additional amount will be calculated in this manner. There is no zakah in a property until it has been owned for 1 year. Okay, we will come to the property later, inshallah. The nisab of silver and its due. There is no zakah on silver until the amount exceeds 200 dirhams. 200 dirhams. So that one is 20 dinar. This is dirhams, 200 dirhams. These currencies are like like someone from Emirate or Qatar is talking. But this is the currency during the time of Rasulullah SAW, how they count the gold and silver by dinar and dirham. By dinar and dirham. Dirham al-fiddi. Back in 2014, some people start to do the dirham fiddi. I bought even one time, 2 or 3. They sell like dirham fiddi, like silver dirham. Okay, the amount payable is quarter of the 10th of any amount, ربع العشر. There is no zakah exemption on silver coins if they attain a nisab. So all the same, as long as it's silver. Okay, 200 dirhams equal to 595 grams of silver. Times, in Malaysia, I check as well here. In Malaysia here, 1 gram, 2.62. 2 ringgit, 0.62. So if you reach the nisab of 200 dirhams of silver, then you will pay of 1,558. This is the amount and the nisab of the silver. Means if you reach this, means you are eligible. Can you imagine if most of us calculate in silver, a lot of people will get benefits. We start to calculate, most of us will become eligible to pay zakah. We will give other people. The social economy of the welfare of the people will be lifted up in a small scale that we can't see, but actually if everyone is doing it, it will be lifted up. And that's the point of the salah. The salah, why it's prayed as jama'ah. Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah can see us all, can hear us all at the same time, knows all our names, knows what we think. Why He needs us every 5 times a day to go to the masjid, gather and pray side by the side. Because when it's a group, it's easier. Anything you want to do in a group, even people who have the business mindset, their strength is how they gather people around them. That's the real strength. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the salah as jama'ah, because if you are praying and I'm praying, we are all going to the masjid, we will encourage him to come. He will be encouraged to come. The same goes to the zakah. That's why zakah, it should be somehow shared. If you pay zakah, share with others. You pay zakah. Maybe people will say, oh, he's quite sharing. But the point is encouraging others to enjoy that. Because if I see you paying zakah, he's paying zakah, I will be paying zakah as well. And if people calculate with silver, frame from gold and silver, no one is poor anymore. They will all pay and they will, inshallah, get supported by each other. It's very important, and it's somehow understanding to the situation. My personal view on this, I would say, like myself, I would immediately calculate on silver. In this circumstance, in this time, in this especially economic situation that we have now. No way I would calculate in gold now. I would calculate in silver in order for me to pay zakah and others as well get benefit. Yeah, that's the practice. As I said, even I said to you, my friend in Kuwait, when that happens, he said authorities still use the gold. They say pay with gold, calculate with gold. Yes, because that's the number 1 fiqh steps. The steps in fiqh, following the commands of Rasulullah SAW and the practice of the Sahaba, is you to calculate through gold. But the sunnah is to be intellected as well, to understand from how the Sahaba radiallahu anhum deal during economic crisis. How did Abu Bakr as-Siddiq and Umar during the Maja'ah, they had times where they had some economic crisis. So refraining from gold back to the silver, it's practice it. It's not something we are inventing something new in the religion. It did practice, but this is the best time to practice it now, where people are not eligible to calculate from the gold.
Okay. For the
So
gold,
they are able to pay.
for the gold, you only pay after 85 grams.
Yes,
So this is
85 and above.
this is gold that you don't use, that you don't wear.
Yes, this is gold that you don't wear.
So the ones that you wear,
The ones they wear falls under jewelry, that stuff that you own,
so you
means
have
for
to pay zakat as well on that, right?
that one you don't have to pay zakat.
Because I was reading zakat wilayah, it says if you have above 800 grams,
800 grams.
yeah, a lot of jewelry that you wear.
I heard, yes, a lot of jewelry. I don't know how you would rotate them even. First, now, when I was even preparing for this course, there are different opinions, of course, of scholars regards this. But some scholars say for the woman, because gold, beware, is made for the woman, for huli, to beauty them. This is how they express their beauty and to their spouses, and it's being used like in the time of Rasulullah. Time has changed. It's not as before. Now you don't use. I mean, who would wear gold at home? I don't know. To me, I don't think it's a common use that ladies wear so much gold at home, like during daily routines. You want to clean, you want to cook, you want wear golds. Ulama said, if even you wear it once a year, means one day, you wear them only, you don't pay zakah for them. He say, even if you have a lot, they are not for zakat, they are not, you are keeping them for treasure, you give them to your friend, she wear them for an occasion, that consider is not, make them not eligible for zakat. Means if you have golds collection and you don't want to pay zakat for them, they are not for zakat, they are just for wear, so you can even borrow it to your friends before the hawl finish, before the year finish, so they are not eligible for the zakat. Because if the whole year been lefted, no one touched it and kept there, then it becomes you have to refresh your niyyah. Is this you are keeping for wear, or you are doing for iddikhar? We call it iddikhar, for saving. If it's for saving, immediately will go under the wujub zakah. You have to put zakah for them. So at least once a year, or borrow them to someone that they would wear them. Give to someone that they would wear them. But there are different opinions, as you mentioned. There are different opinions on this. Some they say you don't have to. You have to pay for the jewelry, even not silver and gold, even like crystal things that it's just diamond, just expensive muqtanayat, like even very expensive bags. These are the excessive stuff. Some goes to that and say you have to pay zakat for it, where it's clearly it's you are wearing it. But the same some said it becomes having the characteristic of gold and silver, like branded things. Yeah. Yes.
Is it up to individual to decide whether they want to base it on gold or silver? So let's say somebody who has and have the intention of paying zakat, but the result doesn't, they follow the gold, it doesn't
Yes.
qualify. Can he himself actually use the silver so that
If you want to do it through the system, it will definitely, they will calculate based on gold, so you will not be able to do it. But let's say I want to do my own calculation. Let's say I'm talking about myself. My income is limited. I know that I'm not going to reach this amount, so I will do, in my mind, I will do my calculation in silver. I will take out the zakah myself, and I will just pay it like the time of Rasulullah. I will just pay it myself. Just take it and I will pay it. Then, inshallah, is acceptable. But you don't have the record of the system. Because now if you want to pay zakat, you go through the zakat, organization and institutions to pay the zakat. Calculation will be based on gold, will not be based on silver. But this is something that we should think about it. If more people are eligible to pay zakat, when you calculate, it's a small amount, so it's gonna encourage more people to pay, and the benefit will be more, inshallah, to the society, especially during these times.
On each category of asset. In other words, there's the income, there's the gold, silver. So you apply the stock.
Yes.
You aggregate the income and the gold, silver against one nisab, or do you take?
Yeah, we don't combine categories. Yes, separate. Each.
Separate.
Yes, separate.
So your income, use one nisab.
Yes, on gold nisab, on silver nisab. Yes. So combining are not permissible for all the categories. Each category is separated from the other. Let's say I have gold. Okay, did they reach the nisab? I make it. I have property. It's for investment, for sale. Okay, I go and evaluate it and go and check the market. But to combine them all categories together and then find the nisab, no. This is not how it's. Each category is separated. Okay, it's actually the next slide. Combining gold and silver. If a person owns gold and silver, but neither of them on its own constitute a nisab, he should not combine the two in order to obtain a nisab. This is because they are not from the same kind. The basic rule, okay, this is a rule in fiqh. The basic rule is that no category can be combined with another. Okay, they cannot be combined. This is the general rule on the categories of zakat. It's the same for cow, sheep. For example, if someone has 199 dirhams and 19 dinars, so he has just one more dinar he is not supposed to pay zakat on them. He's still not reaching the amount. Okay. How did the fuqaha understand this? How do they make this understanding? How do they make these rules? They go through the action of Rasulullah, the Sahaba radiyallahu anhum, the generation of the Sahaba radiyallahu anhum until the generation of Tabi'een, the third best generation that Rasulullah said best generation, and they see their act. No one have combined. No one have even was like 1 dirham missing to do the nisab. If he does not reach the nisab, he does not pay. So they do that from the istiqra. We say istiqra by looking, analyzing the context of what Rasulullah said and what been implemented by the Sahaba radiyallahu anhu until the time of the Tabi'een. So we have 3 best generation. Generation of Rasulullah, generation of Sahaba, and the third generation is called Tabi'een. Rasulullah said they are the best of the 3 generations. This is from where mostly we take our understanding to the Sunnah. After that, it's not as a evidence for us. The evidence is the amal al-sahabi, the act of sahabi, the act of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, of course. So no combining, even if there is 1 dirham is missing, no combine. Zakat on debt. Debts are of 2 kinds. First, a debt which is acknowledged by the debtor with the willingness to pay it off. Means you give me money, okay? You have debt with me. You ask me, I lend you money. I say yes, you borrow money, I will do my best, I will pay maybe on December, another 2 months. I acknowledge it and I show you the behavior that I am willing to pay you back. I will do my best to pay you back. Okay? This type of debt. The second type of debt that is not acknowledged. You come to me, either I say, no, you didn't give me anything. I didn't borrow money from you. Or you ask me, I tell you it's impossible for me to pay you back. I am broke. I have no job, it's impossible, just forgive me. So there are two kinds of debts here. It's going to come back to you, and that it's not gonna happen. You know that khalas, it's gone. Maybe he will, maybe not. But he does not, maybe because of his circumstances, he's mu'sir. You say in Arabic, mu'sir means is very tight, he cannot pay back, or he just does not acknowledge it, he just doesn't want to pay back. Okay, so these, looking at these two type of debts, this is, we have to look at the paying back on that. Al-Shafi'i, that the creditor should pay zakah on the value of a debt owed on time. So he did not receive it yet. Since he's eventually going to receive it and use it, it's similar to the zakah of any deposit amount. Means, like now when we rent houses, we rent our house, especially if you rent like high, this expensive rent, you would pay 3 or 4 months deposit, right? This deposit is your money, you are getting it back. It's 15,000 there or 12,000 there, is being put aside. It's your deposit, is a debt. You have given it to them, they will pay it back to you. This is one of the scenarios that we are having it, for example, in our normal life here. Or the person, as we said, he acknowledges, say, yes, I'm gonna pay. So when you are calculating your money to do the nisab for the money, you have to calculate this debt as well, because he is willing to pay you back. So eventually he's coming. So calculate it and pay zakah for it. If he does not acknowledge it, later we will know the hukum, how to do about the zakah. But if he acknowledges it and say, okay, I'm paying you, I'm willing, and you know he is a trustworthy person, he's going to pay. So khalas, the money is coming. So you have to calculate them in your hawl, in your calendar year. So you take out the zakat for them.
So if
Yes.
you know that the borrower is going to pay us, say, 5 years, in 5 years time,
Mhm.
do we have to include it in our nisab every of the 5 years, or just on the year that he's going to pay back?
In the year that he's gonna pay back. Yeah, no, not every year. In the year when he's going to pay back, this is when you calculate. Like your deposit, okay, my contract rental of my house is 3 years. The third year, when I'm getting back my debt, alas, he's guaranteed that he's paying me back, the owner of the house or the agent. In that year, calculate, because it's coming, receiving it. Before that is impossible. It takes hukum, for example, not acknowledging. So some deposit, yes, it's your deposit, it's your money, but it's impossible you take back, right? Unless there is some reasons.
If, like we think,
Mhm.
you know, it's longer than a year. So in that case, you wouldn't have to participate.
Okay, that one has different discussion, because what is the purpose of putting it? Is it for investment? Is it for saving? So we will come to that, inshallah, in the discussion. Now, try in the scenarios, imagine and try to compare similar situations. Deposit, debt, you give to someone, they didn't pay back. Deposit you put, you should take back. Okay? It's your money. You have give it to someone and you are taking it back. So on the year when you are taking it back, you have to calculate it in the howl, because it's coming. It's coming to you soon. Let's say he said okay, and you know that his okay is 10 years later. So definitely you will not calculate it. Okay? Yes.
Basically, the borrower that, okay, say I lend money,
Mhm.
and then it's zakat on it.
Mhm.
But then on one hand, there's no profit being charged or anything. It's
Mhm.
to another friend.
Yes.
So you still, but then this this money, actually you pay zakat on it because of your savings.
Yes.
So, but that, of course, that because the money you're going to get it from the borrower,
From the borrower.
you still have to pay zakat on it.
Yes, it's a debt.
Is it double zakat because
Double zakat. No, you are calculating in general. I mean, okay, now,
you're not earning any profit out of it.
yes,
It's cash that you have, which you lend to your friend,
okay,
and then
you are getting it back.
getting back.
Yes.
But it's the principal. You're not getting.
Yeah, yes, you are just getting it back.
But you still have to pay zakat on it. It's not
Yes,
like that.
because you own it and you are freely to use it. It's your money. It's coming back to you.
Yeah.
If it's not coming back to you, Islam will not ask you to charge you for that amount as you.
But then because that money was in your savings account,
Yeah.
we should pay zakat.
It's actually instead of it's being in your account, it was in your friend account. So you are calculating everything that belongs to you. Like let's say a friend, your spouse, my wife, she asked me money, I give to her. So when I want to calculate my zakah, I will remember it's actually, yes, she's mine, but that's my money. She will give it me back, and I have to calculate it because it's my money. So you are calculating all the assets that you have. Maybe you put money here, you put money there, so later when you want to calculate everything, but bear in mind, you calculate what you are sure that is coming, that you will use it freely.
Because the money is in transit.
Yes, exactly. Like as I said, in terms of deposit, some deposits, you know that you are getting it back. Okay, so you are sure about that.
From the borrower perspective, because he is receiving the money
Yes.
for his benefit, does he have to pay zakat? It's him a debt, but then
Yes. This is where we will come to the scenario that now, if you go to a businessman in our time now, you find that he has 100 million ringgit, for example, but he actually borrow from, like how they borrow from banks and for investment. He owe people 150 million, but he has 100 million. But this is how they do the business. They borrow the money, they use them for the projects, and then this is how the system, the business system now is working. So does he consider in a debt and he is miskin, he may? No. He still have to pay zakah on the 100 million that he has. Okay?
And the 150 million?
The 100, he supposedly should be not, if someone madin, if someone have debt, he is not eligible for paying zakah. If someone have debt in Islam, he is not eligible for paying zakah. But the scenario now in our time, that debt is not for poor anymore.
Yeah.
This is what they call good debt. Like you use the money of the financial institutions to execute projects, big projects that it's impossible for you to have the capital to execute it. So you will have to borrow. So in terms of terms, you are actually madin, you are actually in debt. But is that remove your eligibility from paying zakah? No, because your debt is just a name, but actually you are not in debt as a poor, you are in debt as a rich. So there is a debt of rich and the debt of poor. If debt of poor, then you have to, you are not eligible for zakah. But the debt of rich means who have the assets already, but they just have debt. They still have to pay zakah for what they have on. Not acknowledged. Now we are dealing with a person who does not acknowledge, or institution or anyone that does not acknowledge our money to pay back. Zakah is not compulsory on this type of debt. Let's say I give money to someone, I put deposit, they don't want to return it back, it's my money. When I want to calculate, I don't include it because it's not going to return back, it's already gone. Okay, since the creditor cannot benefit from it. Al-Thawri and Abu Ubaid hold that on reason of it, the creditor should pay its zakah We call it here retook أثر رجعي. In Arabic we say it أثر رجعي. In English retook sorry retroactively payment. In Arabic we say أثر رجعي. Means, I will say what's أثر رجعي. أثر رجعي, I suddenly went to a Zakat course and I understand Zakat. I didn't pay for 3-4 years. There is way how to pay back. There is something called أثر رجعي. You pay from the back, from the past. So, yeah. So this one, you wait until you received it and then you have to pay it back. So you receive it you pay it on the day when you receive it. Because when he does not acknowledge it, if you keep asking and you go on proceeding, if it's your right, you will get it back. But maybe it takes time. So also your paying of zakah will be on the time when you receive it.
But if he doesn't get it back, then what happens?
You don't pay zakah.
But all the zakat that he's been paying earlier, thinking that he was going to be paid back, get back.
That خلاص is considered as zakah. Consider as zakah until you find out he is not paying back, and then becomes not acknowledged zakah. So on debt, now we are the one who give the money. Okay, not we are in debt. We are the one who borrow the money. Okay, the debtor or the creditor. So in our situation, we have to look at the debt. If they acknowledge the debt, we have to don't worry. Even if you don't receive it, calculate that amount. If they don't acknowledge it, don't calculate. It's not compulsory. Don't calculate because it may not return to you. You may not receive it. If you receive it, you pay it later. Okay, we call it athar raj'i, means you have to pay the zakat later on. Like people who does not pay zakat for years. In Islam, they can repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and pay. They try. Now, alhamdulillah, as we said, the history, you can go through the history, bank statement, you make calculation, you can find out how much you should pay for zakah. So you pay them slowly. Okay, zakah on bank notes and bonds, they are documents with guaranteed credits. This we call sukuk in Islamic finance. So banknotes and bonds are subject to zakah once they attain the minimum nisab. That a person may change them into currency immediately. If they are the type of documents that you can immediately change them to currency, you can exchange them. We call them sukuk. They are money, are documents. Once their exchange to money reach the nisab, you have to pay zakah for them. You have to calculate them because they are money. They are money. They have the value of money. They have the value of the currency. So you have to check their value. Okay.
And shares, stocks.
Yes, like share stocks, and especially sukuk here a lot in Malaysia. I think sukuk. So this is you have to check it regular because also it's changed from time to time.
If the shares is below your cost and making a loss, you have to pay zakat.
Calculate on the nisab. You're making loss, you're making profit, that's regardless. Calculate on the nisab. Maybe you calculate each nisab and then make profit, inshallah, after that, after paying the zakah. Okay, zakah and jewelry. Asma bint Yazid reporting, my aunt and I, while wearing gold bracelets, went to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He asked him, did you pay their zakah? Rasulullah looked at them and he asked, did you pay their zakah? He looked at the bracelets they were wearing from gold. She related that they had not. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that Allah will make you wear a bracelets of fire. Pay its zakah. All the ahadith that I look regards the gold, because it makes me so curious. Recently, a lot of buying gold. I didn't see Rasulullah encourages that, or he discouraged. But I saw a lot of warning regards wearing golds. Oh, you wearing golds? Do you know that It's like Rasul saying, do you know the hukum? Do you know the ruling of it? Did you pay its zakat? So sometimes gathering money or wealth and increasing it, and it's alhamdulillah, is a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but it requires knowledge as well. You have to grow in your wealth and grow in your knowledge as well in managing it in the way that pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the hadith said, "Al-mu'minu al-qawi khayrun 'inda Allah min al-mu'min al-dha'if wa fi kullin khayr." The strong believer is better for Allah than the weak believer, and there is good in both of them. The interpreters of the hadith, they say this indicates, number one, spiritual strength, means iman, faith. Rasulullah said the one who is strong in his faith is better than who is weak in his faith. But also the hadith said this goes to all aspects, means a wealthy believer is better than the poor believer, because a wealthy believer can support the ummah, can make it strong, can support the causes of Allah in many ways. So it's not haram for us to work hard in dunya, as long as the materials in our hand does not accumulate your heart and becomes you are the slave of dirham and dinar. This is the most important thing. But to be wealthy is something can be a reward in the dunya if we grow it in the understanding of the Quran and Sunnah. Scholars agree that it has to be paid diamonds, beryls, sapphires, rubies, and all these really expensive. There's no zakat on them in most of the scholars' opinion. You may find some opinions that say paid zakat, but in understanding, I focus on Shafi'i as much as I can, gathering from Fiqh book, if you know to he all the four madhahib to get closer to a Shafi'i, because it's what we have here in Malaysia is madhab. Yes.
What I was trying to say, what if somebody intentionally
Gather this as yes, because okay, that's where as I said, the hukum is different. Okay, now my wife wearing all these stuff just for zina, she's just wearing, she likes it, but she bought a lot. Okay, is a lot of stuff. But there is another one, she buy them and she stock them. She knows that they will go on price, she will sell them. It becomes under the goods. Kat al-bada'i', which will come later. Because it becomes for sale. Yeah, transaction. In them, there is no zakat. Yes.
So that means a friend of mine who makes jewelry from all these other stones.
Mm-hmm.
So if she has stock of those things that is enough, how? So those stocks will have to be taken.
Yes. But paid zakat under the understanding of goods. Means, let's say I'm selling these glasses, for example. I have amount of, like factory made this. It's not gold, it's not silver, but I'm selling it. It reached the amount of nisab, I have to pay zakat for it. Same goes to this. If it's as goods for sell and buy, then it's under the goods, which is what will come after this, inshallah. Okay, zakat on the mahar, here in Malaysia, call it hantaran, right? Okay, it's a bit different in Arab countries. In Arab countries, they would do the mahar, the hantaran, they will divide it into two types. The first, you have to pay a small amount at the beginning, but the big and chunk amount if there is divorce. So they tie the man, he doesn't even think to divorce his wife. If you want to divorce, you have to pay amount of gold, so and so. Okay? And this is where the problem of the zakah for her mahar. Her mahar is she did not receive it. So it's like a debt on the husband. But now things change. But until recently, it's been practiced like that. In Malaysia, you don't have that, alhamdulillah. Al-Shafi'i holds, yes.
In this case, the debt on husband, so like you said that
Yes.
the debt is going to be paid.
Yes.
When
That's,
the husband going to
yes, that's why. If he divorced his wife. But this is her right. The idea is that this practice actually is somehow, it's haram, actually. It's a wrong practice. Because the idea of the mahar is to be all present in the one time at the aqad and nikah and done. But to divide it and to do it like this is something that's been invented. Yes, because Rasulullah allowed the nikah to happen without the wife receive the full of her mahar. No problem. That can happen. In Islam is halal. But people use it in a wrong way. They afraid that they will divorce the wife or leave her. So if you want to divorce, no problem. But pay me the golds that I owe you. So Shafi'i holds that a woman must pay zakah on her mahar at the end of 1 year, even if it's before the wedding happened. Khalas, the mahar been decided. If the whole 1 year, she has to pay the zakah for it. And this is where the practice is wrong. They don't pay any zakah for that. If the mahar is mentioned but not received, then it takes the condition of debts that mentioned in the zakat on debt. Okay, takes the same hukum.
Dowry is only referring to like cash dowry, right?
Yes,
People also get jewelry,
whatever have been mentioned. It can be, let's say, gold. Like in some cultures is gold. Like in my country is gold.
So would it fall under the zakat requirements of dowry or under gold as jewelry?
It will fall under this, but when you go, what was the mahar? Gold. Khalas, you would go and check the nisab of the gold. If it's silver, you will check the nisab of silver. If it's money, you will check the amount of money, the nisab of the money, is it reach nisab or not? Yeah.
I don't understand this one.
Yeah, but the thing here, the idea about this one is that some women, here you don't have this practice at all. Here you go to the nikah, immediately the mahar, the hantaran, here called hantaran, right? Immediately presented to the wife and written in the nikah aqd. In some practices in Muslim countries, the mahar, the hantaran or dowry, it's divided into two. The first at the aqd nikah, and one is called muajjal. It's to be done late without mentioning of date. Can be after 1 year, can be done after 2 years, can be after 30 years. But if there is the condition, if there is divorce, he has to pay the mahar, because the mahar, it's for marriage. We pay mahar for the wife because for the marriage purpose. If there is divorce in Islam, the judge will ask you to complete and pay back your mahar to your wife. In this case, let's say I will imagine the scenario with me. My wife, let's say, I should pay her mahar, let's say 20 dinar gold. She already reached the nisab of gold, but I only pay her 1 dinar at the mahar, and 19, she just write it down, so she make sure that I don't divorce her or run away or leave her. So if I want to do so, then the judge will force me to the 19 dinar. This is how the scenario happened. So in these cases, when the mahar is not fully received by the wife, she has money. The wife own money, but she did not receive it. She has to deal with it as a debt because it's her money. To think how to pay the zakah, which is why this is practice is not being. It's not according to the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Supposedly, the mahar is presented all at the Aqd. But Rasulullah approved some of the Sahaba who didn't pay the fully mahar at the Aqd because they were poor or some circumstances. So he approved them, no problem.
Was in Malaysia,
Right.
and it state how much is the Moscow. Sometimes it's 300 ringgit only.
Yes,
Sometimes it's only 80 ringgit. So that's a compulsory to be paid to the bride.
yes.
But the hantaran is the one, like you said, can be 30,000. 50,000
Oh,
now.
okay.
So that's for the majlis.
Oh, okay. I am mixing things. Sorry.
So how is that?
I'm not easy. Okay. The one that we are talking, the 300 in the Aqd nikah. Yes. Yes. The money that being given, the hantaran, this one that being given, it's for the reception, right? For the wedding. That one different from one to another. No. That one in spending, actually, you would spend it all in the wedding and.
So that means that mascarin,
Mm.
let's say sometimes the parents change and say, I want mascarin to be 5,000, or so that mascarin must be at that nisab before the bride has to pay the zakat.
If her
Like,
yes, the 300, yes, that it's here like Slangur 300, right? They're right. If it reached the nisab zakat, they decided to put it very high.
like gold.
Yes, like gold or something. Then she has to pay the zakat, the wife. But I think here the authority controls this. They won't allow you to put more than a certain amount. That's why you create the other, what's called the hantaran. Okay, zakat on house rent. Abu Hanifa and Malik maintain that the rent is not payable to the landlord at the time of the contract, but the expiry of the renting period. Okay. So this is the opinion of Al-Ahnaf and Al-Malikiyya, that at the end of the renting period. Thus, the landlord who rents out a house should pay the zakat on his house rent, provided the fixed amount meets the following condition. Receiving of the money, means you rent the house, you receive the money, you receive the rent, and completion of nisab, you reached already the nisab from the money that they are paying, okay? At the end of the year, you have the whole 1 whole year renting. Now let's say you paid the zakat earlier. You know that, okay, this tenant is paying the rental, is going to receive that amount. It's more than the amount of zakat. Then it's meeting other zakat that you are paying for something else, and you want to pay together earlier in advance, no problem. You can. Let's say you want, sometimes people will gather all the assets. Okay, I want to make zakat, the hawl of my zakat on my property for my house, it's now. And then I have also a rented house that the due is another 4 or 5 months. But I want to, from now, calculate everything and give the zakat. You can do so. So you can pay in advance. But make sure that you are receiving the rent. So your money is guaranteed. So it's not, as we said, that don't acknowledge or they don't pay.
So if you have 5 properties,
Mhm.
you apply the nisab for each one of the property, or in this case, because it's the same type of
Same category. So you can, yes,
aggregate the 5
yes,
properties
for purposes together.
in one nisab.
Yes. And you have to bear in mind your calculation of the nisab is not on the property. Maybe the property is definitely exceeds the nisab 10 or 15 times. But your calculation is on the rent, because sometimes the rent is low. Yeah. So your calculation on the rent. Okay. Al-Nawawi, rahimahullah, says, if somebody leases a house and was paid in advance, he should pay its zakat on receiving it. In some countries, they do that. Everything advance, 1 year. They pay you the whole year in advance. So if you received it, immediately pay the zakat of that year.
What if you are living in the house, your own house?
If you,
Value, how do you
if you own a house, you living out. Let's say I own 50 houses. I'm not doing business. One in Italy, one in Australia, one here in Malaysia, 5 in another country. But I just travel wherever I am free. I go to that house. I'm not renting. I am not putting in sale. There is no zakat on them. It's for you. The property that for use, you don't use. Like someone have 5, 6 cars. One is for let's say like jungle, and one for grocery. But he used them all. It is all his use. So it's not no zakat on them. But if the intention changed and suddenly he start to sell this car and make money from this, so it becomes trading and he's making money. Khalas, he from the time he start to make money, he has to count the house.
Plastic cars, you have to pay zakat.
Yes, classic cars that waiting for the price to go and then exchange. So he has to count based on what is his plan. Like for example, I buy land. Okay, after some time, I suddenly needed money for something else. I sold the land. There is no zakat on that. I take the money of the land and I use it for something else. There is no zakat on this as a business. I just own something and I sold it, but with no intention of I became in trade, in business. We will come to this inshallah in zakat on trade. So there's difference between trade and sell. Like you own a car, suddenly you sold your car and you buy another car, or maybe you just sold it. You don't need it anymore. So this kind of transaction, it's not to be calculated under the trade. Okay, you keep the money later when you want to calculate the cash and you want to see the amount and the nisab of the cash that you have, the money, if you're saving, then it will be included. Yeah.
So despite the fact that you made a profit from the sale of the land, you still don't have to pay.
No, you don't pay, even if you made profit of that. Because when you bought it, you did not buy it with the intention of business. I just bought a land. I thought I want to build a house. Suddenly, one of my relatives, let's say, needed money, or I personally needed to, for example, tend something or do another business. So I just sold it. I take the money. I don't want to build my house on this land anymore. The intention is there. It was for use, but then suddenly I sold it. Okay, zakat on trade. The majority of scholars among the companions, the followers, and the generation after them, who say that the zakat on merchandise is compulsory, means any kind of business you do, it's compulsory for you to pay zakat if you reach the amount of nisab. Al-Shafi'i and the rest of the school of Fiqh of Al-Shafi'iyya related that Abu Amr ibn Hammas reported that his father, he said, I used to sell leather. He used to sell leather and containers. Once Umar ibn al-Khattab passed by me and said, pay the sadaqah due on your property. I said, oh, Commander of Faithful, it's just a leather. He replied, evaluate it and then pay its due sadaqah, means pay its zakah. So this is when it comes to the business, you have to calculate all the merchandise that you have, and then based on that calculation and based on that evaluation, you can come up with if you reach the amount of nisab or not.
So you can use the profit and loss statement or the income cash flow statement.
You have to calculate, like for example, I will give it to you in
Balance sheet.
yes, you will calculate if you, let's say I am selling a wholesale stuff. I have a warehouse, all my stuff are wholesale. I will calculate on my wholesale. If I sell, like I have a shop, let's say a grocery shop, and I'm selling vegetables, foods and things like that, I have to calculate on the individual that I sell. Let's say I have 20 kilo tomato, I have 14 kg potato, I have this, I have that. You have to calculate all of that, the amount, the capital amount with its profit. Like I sell this 5 ringgit, but I bought it 3 ringgit. When I calculate, I don't just calculate 3 ringgit, my capital. No, I calculate 5 ringgit with my profit. How much I'm gonna sell it. So with your profit, with your capital all together, you calculated, the amount of that is what is define your nisab.